right, Chris, as we get set for the men's free skating program, perhaps some of you people at home want to judge, to keep score on your favorite skater. To give you some tips, let's take you behind the scenes with a look at judging. Here is Gene Semp. Gene?
There is a lot more that goes into a judge's decision than meets the untrained eye. It is not simply a matter of the number of jumps completed, although that is what many tend to focus on. Judges are trained to examine programs with much in-depth analysis, and there are many aspects that we use as a basis for comparison. When watching the free program, you must consider the difficulty of the elements chosen and how well they are executed. This applies to jumps, spins and any variations within them, and footwork sequences and their intricacy. Look for jump combinations and assess whether they are simple, as in this double Lutz, double toe loop combination, or more demanding, like this triple flip, triple toe loop combination. Are they at the beginning of the program, like Petrenko's triple axel, double toe loop at the 1991 Worlds in Munich, or at the end of the program, like Browning's triple salchow, triple loop at the same competition? Combinations done at the end are much harder to do and add to the risk factor. Look to see if the program is safe, with the jumps being telegraphed or set up, like Bowman's triple axel. Or do jumps seem to float out of the footwork, like Ermanov's triple flip, which again is much more difficult to do. How artistic is the skate? Watch for opportunities for style, flow, unique ways of interpreting the music, and using the highlights to full advantage. And lastly, is the program skated with or without errors? Judges weigh all these factors and more when making their decisions. In the end, it is the complete program that will capture their attention, not just the jumps, but the total package, including the spins, the footwork, the artistry, and the overall approach.
Thank you, Gene. And there is a familiar sight from San Francisco shot earlier today on the west side of the bay. Up next, live coverage of the men's free skating program when we return to California.
Michael Slipchuk.
Welcome back to the Oakland Coliseum. 3 Canadians in the top 10 after the original program. Michael Slipchuk is 9th. He was 9th at the Olympic Games, and he has a couple of decisions coming up. In the next couple of months, he'll decide whether to continue his amateur career, but there's a more immediate decision whether or not to try a quad. And
well,
he told us that he hadn't decided skating out onto the ice.
Well, he said at the Olympics he didn't decide until he was actually out there in his performance. So I'm sure it'll depend on how the first triple axel goes.
He looked a little tense, he looked a little tentative, and as a result, he didn't push that landing through and had to touch down with his one hand.
He's had problems with this jump in the past, but he landed it. And the next jump, if he does it, it will be the quad. No, he decided to do a double axel. He decided to play it safe. He is sitting in 9th spot. Last year he was 7th in Munich, so he's hoping to come off with a clean performance to make up a few spots.
was a scheduled combination, and in the first jump, the triple toe that he attempted, he was simply over-rotated and in no position to land it, and therefore could not even attempt the second jump of the combination. That's frustrating, Barb, when you're out there and it's obvious that Michael is not on top of himself. By that I mean every time he jumps, he's not getting his shoulders, hips to line up over his skating side when he goes to land. And he's had 3 jumps escape him out here this afternoon.
Competition, Michael had an absolutely disastrous performance. Now, I wouldn't term this as disastrous, but it certainly wasn't the performance he's looking for.
Well, we've talked a lot about the mental mindset of the competitors coming into this competition. Michael, as we watch him execute this triple Lutz, one of the ones he did manage to execute in the program, he's had a great season up till this point. This triple axel, he never ever gets out of it correctly. He's over-rotated, doesn't break out soon enough, and therefore goes down. But for Michael to have won the Canadian Championship and then put in an outstanding performance at the Olympic Games, he'd already delivered 2 outstanding performances at the international level. For others who have come here and didn't do that, they were still hungry. They still had something to prove, and perhaps because Michael had had such a successful season up to this point, he didn't have the drive that a lot of other people here are having.
The Worlds are so tough simply because of the fact that they're so close to the Olympic Games, and the skaters are really trying to reach their peak at the Olympics, and 3 weeks in between just isn't quite enough to come down and then get back up to put on a great performance only 3 weeks later.
I don't know if you had rinks you just didn't like skating in, but this rink has haunted him this year. And he made the point when he fell on that simple bit of footwork in the original program that he fell in the exact same spot on the ice that he did at Skate America. And I'm sure there were some pieces of ice out there he didn't want to see again. 26 last week. His family here in the crowd. I met him souvenir shopping in Albertville, and he had a list a mile long, and when I asked him if he thought about going to Lillehammer, he said, I'm not sure I could afford another shopping trip like that for souvenirs. He said, if you think skating in the Olympics is pressure, you should have to buy all these souvenirs for people back home. Well, he was 9th and in danger of falling out of the top 10. And there is the first set for Michael Slipchuk.
I overheard him say there to his coach, Jan Allmark, that he just wasn't on. That was, as I mentioned during the performance, he simply was not over top of his skating side through a lot of those jumps.
There, the second set of marks. Michael Slipchuk has a 10th place mark and a 12th place mark, so he will definitely tumble out of the top 10. We'll be back with more from the Oakland Coliseum of the 92 Worlds after this. Welcome back to the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, where we have just completed the warm-up for the final group of 6. And the men's free skate is about to get down to the medal chase. Peter Barna, the 25-year-old Olympic bronze medalist, is first up in the same position he was in at the Olympics, second after the original program. He had the perfect 6 yesterday, but his last 3 long programs, he has struggled. Fell out of the medals in Munich. He barely hung on for his gold at Lausanne, and he slipped to 3rd at Albertville. How was his warm-up?
Well, I thought all of the men in this flight looked really tight. They all feel as though they can win this competition, and there was a serious, very serious atmosphere out there. Peter perhaps has the biggest challenge because he is skating first in this flight with the balance to come, so the judges are going to have to give him marks that could possibly let him win, but not block themselves in and not leave enough marks to put someone else who could come out and skate a better performance.
Now, Peter is the only skater in the top that will not be attempting a triple axel, but he does have a quad planned, and it's his first jump.
Over-rotated, an extra turn on the landing, but still did it on 1 foot.
Combination is very important to him. Triple lutz, triple toe, and he singled out on the toe.
This performance to me is already shades of Europeans, where he was the European champion but won the title with a performance like this.
on this program would have to be that it really lacked any sort of aggression. He just didn't seem to have a spark, and he tired very early in the program.
Well, not only that, but Peter is skating to the music from the soundtrack of the movie Hamlet, which is very dark, very morbid. And in light of the fact that this performance struggled with its technical side, I worry that it may not be enough to keep him on the podium.
Kurt Browning is coming up next, and when we return to Oakland, we'll have the marks for the Czechoslovakian champion, Peter Barna. As we await the marks for Peter Barna, we can give you the order of skating here. Barna, then Kurt Browning is on the ice warming up. Elvis Stojko after that. Todd Eldredge, Victor Petrenko, and then Christopher Bowman. And clearly Peter Barna has knocked himself out of gold medal contention.
This is the one jump that Peter opened his performance with, the attempted quad, and as you can see, he actually over-rotated a little bit and had to tack on an extra turn in an effort to save the jump.
It's not very often you see an over-rotated quad.
Went to the quad last year because he just could not execute the triple axel. He said that's like jumping off a bridge for him, so he went to the quad because he felt he needed that to keep up with these other terrific jumpers.
Well, he needed that, but he also needed his triple lutz, triple toe combination, which he missed at the very beginning of the program, because without the triple axel, he just didn't have the technical difficulty.
There are the technical marks for Peter, and clearly these will not be enough. In fact, his medal hopes are really in jeopardy here. We hesitate to call this his last amateur competition. He had announced that this would be his last. Now he says it might not be because the World Championships are in Prague next year. Second set of marks come up quite a bit. But Barna really in trouble of falling out of the medal picture as he did last year in Munich. Well, there was quite a wait for Barna's marks, and Kurt Browning has been on the ice for some time. The first to execute the quad, going after a different quad now, attempting to win his fourth straight world title. First one in Paris, then Halifax, Munich, and he's after another one in Oakland, trying to become the first since Scott Hamilton of the United States.
Well, after the Olympics, Kurt went home and reorganized his long program. He's now opening with the triple axel combination, then the triple lutz combination, and then the very difficult combination, triple Salchow, triple loop, and I think we'll get the real feel for this program in the very first jump, the triple axel combination.
Barbie told us yesterday, I've worked very hard this year. I'm going to make it all work out. Let's see if he does.
Looking for at the Olympic Games.
Kurt has just knocked off two of the elements that Kurt is known for and Kurt is best at. That is triple combinations, and he already has two in the bag.
Well, the next one has been giving him some problems. The triple Salchow, triple loop combination.
Much like Peter, who didn't quite break out of the jump, he had to tack on a little extra turn on the end of it to save it, but that's far better than going down.
I could see him actually clenching his teeth, so he is really going for this performance. Another triple axel planned, and it became a single. He just looked at his coach. He came right in front of us and said, "What should I do?" Meaning whether or not he should do the triple or double lutz. He did it. It looked like he two-footed it, but that's for the judges to decide.
Well, Kurt was certainly out there on a mission today. One of those being to deliver a program. He was skating to Stravinsky's Firebird, and when you do a concept program like this, it's nice to have an opportunity to deliver it as well as you possibly can. Kurt has not had that opportunity up to this point, and I think he can feel pretty good about giving us a complete performance for the first time this season.
Well, he certainly looks pleased with that performance. There was a few mistakes, but I think this is really going to come down to how Victor skates.
All right, we'll be back for Kurt Browning's marks in a moment when we return to the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum.
I thought he was.
Browning and Coach
Hey,
Michael
Jeremy, how you doing
Uranic.
at home? Karen McLean.
Doesn't have as many to say hi to, because a lot of the family is here in the building. Talked to his dad yesterday, and he said, "I just hope we see the real Kurt Browning here." There's Dad just to the right of that Canadian flag.
Kurt Browning for technical error.
And here come the marks.
5.9.
And they're good ones. 5 7s, 8s, and 9s.
Well, I'm a little astounded with the 5.9 because there were definitely errors in that program.
That's the German judge that gave Peter Barna the perfect 6 in the original program. Artistic marks, and this is strange, they come down in a lot of cases. He has 7 first-place marks and 2 second-place marks right now, but Kurt Browning is the leader. He's gone ahead of Peter Barna, so he's made up a spot, but whether that's enough to beat Victor Petrenko and Elvis Stojko remains to be seen. And look who's next. Elvis Stojko, who certainly got his feet wet at the Olympics skating in the final group. He really wasn't a medal contender there, but he is here. And he looked so loose just a few minutes ago, like this is where he expected to be.
Well, with Peter Barna having skated as poorly as he did, this really sets the stage for Elvis with a strong performance moving up onto the podium.
He said that he's decided not to do the quad here today. He would rather go with a clean program. next jump is the triple axel, triple toe combination. Well, it was a triple axel double toe combination, but I don't think that matters a bit. I don't want to jinx him, but he is putting down a performance here as good, at least, or almost better than the Olympics.
Well, as much as Michael Slipchuk was off, Elvis appears to be on.
Triple axle planned.
Unfortunate, it was over-rotated, but the simple fact that he's tried 2 in this program really says something.
Judges do, because this is the second time that Elvis has skated this well, and they certainly can't ignore him now.
Well, the simple fact that he tried 2 triple axels in the program means he feels confident with that jump. He feels comfortable with it, and he did 1 of every triple in the book. Sow, toe, loop, flip, flex, and the axle in combination. So you're right, Barb. They cannot ignore this man's technical ability.
Well, he has certainly ignited this audience. Usually the skater wants a second chance. Elvis has given the judges a second chance. Let's see what they do with it. Back with more in a minute.
If you ever bought a glass like this from a person like this at a place like this, then you've contributed to a $5 million fund called this, so that hundreds of young athletes and coaches can continue doing things like this.
We are back in Oakland with Elvis Stojko, Doug Lee, Michelle Lee, Elvis's coaches on perhaps a historic night. in Canadian skating. The possibility
Excellent job,
here
guys. Excellent job.
for two
Way to
Canadians
finish the season.
in the top
Okay.
three. Was it ever, Doug? A great way for Elvis to finish the year, and it's not finished yet because we are waiting critical marks. And is it a night where the
7 Arabians at the end are a trademark.
baton is passed from one Canadian star to another as well? The judges will also decide that.
Well, what amazes me is the fact that he had such an outstanding performance at the Olympics, came back 3 weeks later and put on just as great a performance.
He could very easily have sat back, felt very good about what he did at the games, said to himself, well, I've made my mark. I'm going to go to Worlds, and I'm looking for next year. Elvis isn't looking at next year. He's looking at right here and now.
Well, he likes the first set of marks, 5-9 from Jane Garden of Canada, 5-7s and 8s.
All right, second mark.
Remember, he had the second best set of technical marks in Albertville behind Victor Petrenko. The artistic marks have hurt him in the past. He said he worked very hard on that. The choreography and the spins, well, they come down again. He has second place marks from 4 of the judges, third place marks from 4. And Elvis Stojko is still behind Kurt Browning, but he's ahead of Peter Barna, so he is in contention for a medal, and never has Canada had 2 in one event.
United States, Todd Eldredge.
And not in the last 12 years has an American been kept off the podium in the men's competition. Here is last year's bronze medalist, Todd Eldredge, who is currently in 6th place. Vastly improved from his 10th place performance in Albertville. Like Kurt Browning, he's had an injury-plagued year, but has shown rapid improvement here.
Well, their 2 seasons have gone so very similar. They both suffered the same type of injury, a back injury. They both missed competing at their national championships. And here they are at the Worlds, both fighting to get back up on the podium after missing it in Albertville.
And a very nice opening with a triple axel double toe combination. To make those types of mistakes if he wants to do any movement at all in the standings.
to have been a triple lux, and it appeared as though Todd's toe didn't plant correctly, and he popped it into a single. He comes back to the other end of the ice, though, and does a nice double toe, triple toe combination.
The Olympics, but I certainly don't think this can beat Elvis, because technically Elvis just has him beat all over the place.
Well, not only that, but choreographically this program isn't convincing to me. To me, it almost looks like he attempted to almost copy the look of Brian Boitano in 1988, and as a result, I take that as a sign of a lack of originality.
All right, remember, coming up next is Victor Petrenko, the Olympic champion. The marks for Todd Eldredge when we return. Todd Eldredge and his coach Richard Callahan. Eldredge in 6th place after the original program.
Well, here was one of the best elements he executed. The triple axel, nice height, nice position. He has to bend forward a bit to get through, reestablishes himself, back up into the double toe. That shows control when you know you're at a position, and then readjust your body so that you can get the second half of the combination complete.
Todd just 20 years of age, so we're going to see Alexei Urmanov and Elvis Stojko and Todd Eldredge. They'll be the stars of the future, and right now the stars of today. Eldredge, along with Christopher Bowman, a lot of pressure on them to get into that top 3 so the Americans can send 3 to the next World Championships.
Well, they look a little bit happier about this performance than yesterday when Todd went out and played Create As You Go when he restructured his entire original program. He skated today's performance as it was scheduled to be skated.
Todd Eldredge for technical merit. 5.4.
And here come the marks for Eldredge.
5.7.
And they are not as high as Browning or Stojko.
5.7. 5.7. 5.6. And 5.6. Thank you. And his marks for artistic
Now
credit.
trains in San Diego, born in Chatham, Massachusetts. Second set of marks. The high mark is from the Canadian judge Jane Garten, who has him seated second, but most of the marks 4th place marks, and 6th place mark from Germany. And overall, Todd Eldredge is in 5th place. Right now it's Browning, Stojko, Mark Mitchell of the United States, Peter Barna, and Todd Eldredge. But this is the key skate. The 2-time world silver medalist, the new Olympic champion, trying to cap his brilliant amateur career with his first world championship. Victor Petrenko, 2 years of age from the CIS, and he looked invincible in the original program. Quite a moment right before the warm-up when Browning and Petrenko shook hands and wished each other well, and now Petrenko will try to knock Browning out of 1st place.
To his opening combination, triple axel, triple toe. And he opened very nicely. But as we all know, what happens to Victor later on in the program is really what matters, because he has a history of really going downhill from here.
And he has complained this week of fatigue.
That was to have been a triple sow. He executed a double.
the planned triple at the Olympics, and this time he did a double. But he just followed it up with a triple loop. He's really taking a breather, really trying to get his breath for the last part of the program.
And I think he's going to need a breather, Barb, because if he wants to push this program over the top, which I think he's going to have to do in order to win, he's got to do it in the next minute and a half.
The adrenaline going too.
Yeah, he just looks like he picked it up a couple notches here. Well, I have to say, with this performance, we are looking at the new world champion.
He didn't seize the moment in Albertville, Barb, but I think he has here.
Well, so many people in the skating fraternity have commented about the fact that it really would be a shame if Victor Petrenko was to complete his amateur career and have never won a world championship. He is now the Olympic champion, and I think if he could win a world title, it would complete a very successful career.
Watch this triple axel. He gets right over top of himself, great height, and straight up into the double toe.
This triple Lutz is only a single jump, not in combination, but still nicely executed.
It's still in the hands of the judges. He skated off in Munich and thought he'd won and lost a 5-4 judges decision. But he brought this house down.
Well, even though he won Olympic gold, he didn't put the performance down at the Olympics that he wanted. Now, this was not by any means as far as he can go. He did 2 double jumps instead of triples, but I'm sure he's very, very ecstatic with this performance.
Especially in light of the fact that, like a number of other competitors here at this World Championship, it is his final appearance at the Amateur World Championship. He has decided to move on to a professional career, and there's no better way to go out than with a performance like that.
And also because of the fact that he just has yet to really put down a great long program. And he did it here today.
The last Olympic men's champion not to repeat or follow it up with a world championship was Robin Cousins in 1980, beaten by Jan Hoffman.
As we look at his triple loop, again, not in combination, but a very cleanly executed jump.
Here come the marks. 5-6 from the finish, Judge, but there are 5 9s on the board. 4 of them, and 1 is from the Canadian judge, Gene Garten. The crowd responding to the 5-6 from Finland.
5.9. 5.8.
Well, those marks should be enough because he comes up artistically. There's a 6 and another 6. Australia and France give him perfect marks. The rest are 5.9s. Victor Petrenko's the world champion. He has first place marks from all 9 judges. Petrenko first, Browning second, Stojko third. Mitchell of the United States is fourth. Peter Barna has dropped to fifth. So Canada will not win gold, but will Canada win 2 medals, silver and bronze? Only one skater left to change the order, and that's Christopher Bowman, who moved from 7th to 4th in Albertville. It's been another stormy year for him, in 5th place going into this long program.
Well, Christopher said yesterday, after the original program, this isn't over yet. I'm still within striking distance, so he's determined out here today. Triple Lutz. But next is a triple axel, and this is a jump that has been giving him many problems all year.
So much so that it was in his original program in Albertville, and he dropped it for his original program here in Oakland.
And it was a double.
He was going so slow into it, Barb. I can't imagine him even getting close to attempting and completing the triple. Although Christopher is executing the jumps, the thing that disturbs me the most about them is that when he finishes a jump, especially in combination, he's almost at a virtual standstill.
Well, I think that has something to do with the fact that he really slows down going into the jumps. He really telegraphs his jumps. Cost him, if he did have any chance at winning a medal here, I would think it just evaporated.
I think he hurt himself.
And he did. He's really got a grimace on his face. He really looks like he's hurt his knee. He can barely keep going.
Well, if he is injured, it's his option stop the program. The referee is not going to stop this music unless he comes over and indicates that he cannot continue because of the injury. And with only 15 seconds to go, he's going to skate it through.
It's a lot like Joanna Ing at the World Junior Championships. Oh, lots been said about Christopher Bowman, but he showed a lot of heart in the last 30 seconds of this program.
Well, technically, it didn't compare to Elvis Stojko. There just wasn't the combinations. I don't think he has the speed. On my scorecard, I put Elvis ahead and give the Canadian 2 medals.
All right, we'll have the marks for Christopher in a moment, but right now, let's join Brian Williams standing by with the new world champion.
All right, Chris, the new world champion indeed, Victor Petrenko, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Now, you told me yesterday you were very, very tired after the original program. The Olympics was the peak for you. I thought maybe you'd weaken late in the program today being so long, but you seem to get stronger.
Well, I was tired also, but I tried to do everything like a fresh, and didn't show anyone about I'm tired.
So you felt good at the end?
Well, yeah, I think so.
All right, a great way to end your amateur career. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, stand by. We're going to talk with your friend Kurt Browning and Elvis Stojko. The world champion is Victor Petrenko. Chris, let's go back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Brian. Christopher Bowman really struggled to get off the ice as he's with John Nixon. Immediately, the U.S. medical staff is checking him out. Let's find out what happened.
Here we're going to see just what happened. I thought I saw his skate just plant the kickboard right there, and then he lands on that knee. And it was really a mental error. When one allows oneself to get too close to the boards, you're just not totally in tune with your surroundings.
It didn't look like he landed square on the knee. I think maybe he might have twisted it.
I just... oh, don't pull on it. Have to loosen this up a little bit, okay? Here, go ahead in there.
Maybe it isn't his name.
Possibly an ankle. It's hard to tell. He's complaining as they take his skate off, and therefore it perhaps was an ankle that twisted and not necessarily his knee as we originally had thought.
Don't pull on it.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it's his ankle or a foot injury of some sort.
Well, there are the marks for technical merit, and they will not affect the final standings, I don't think. It looks very much like Canada will win 2 medals for the first time ever in a singles competition. There are the artistic marks. They're all over the board, 5/8 but 5/3s. Bowman has 3 third-place marks, 2 fourth-place marks, but he has 7th and 8th place marks as well. And so Kurt Browning will indeed win silver, and Elvis Stojko with a bronze medal. So Elvis has arrived on the international scene. Christopher Bowman is 4th, and we're going now to join Brian Williams with those 2 great Canadians.
All right, Chris, history made. 2 Canadians on the victory podium. Elvis, your first time. We'll talk to you in just a minute. The World Championship string stops at 3.
Yeah, so it does. I gave it a good fight today, and if there was any program I was going to lose it on, it would have been today. Just a little bit of a slip. Got nervous halfway through instead of at the beginning, and fought back. I gave Victor a good run, and I think his triple axel at the end put the clincher on it for him.
Did you get any ribbing from your fellow skaters? By your own admission, you were lucky yesterday. You said to me the judges missed the fact that I missed a triple Lutz. Any ribbing from the skaters?
I think everyone's too busy with their own to worry about the judges or me, and no, the judges, but some of my teammates gave me a little bit of a hard time. But I'm thankful. Sometimes the luck falls your way, and you got to take advantage of it.
All right, you had the luck yesterday in the original program. A final question. They want you for the medals. What did you say to your coach, Michael Uranek, as you came around about 3 minutes into the program?
I just yelled at to him and said, anything different? We're going to try anything new, and he sort of didn't give me any intention. So I thought we'll go for the clean ending and hope Victor makes some mistakes.
All right, you going to stay an amateur, or are you going to retire?
I don't know. I'll let you know instead.
All right, Kurt Browning. Kurt, you have to go. Just cut in front of us here. Elvis is in the building from Richmond Hill, Ontario. Your first medal, a bronze at the World Championships. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Now tell me something. Is this rink big enough for you? You reminded me of Midori Ito. I thought you were going to jump out of here. You nearly hit the boards 2 or 3 times.
It was a little scary out there. You know, at the beginning of the program, I can get a feel of how far I am from the boards. And later on, as you get into the program, you start to let go a little bit. And I'm used to Olympic-size ice surface, so it's getting a bit close. But I didn't hit them, so that was all right.
All right, they're calling for you in the stands. I want one more question here. You attempted virtually every triple in the book tonight. Was that your strategy?
Yeah, the strategy was to do everything. I know I can do all the triples, and I've done it before. I did it at Olympics, and I knew I could do it again, and they only step out of the second axle, and it was not bad.
All right, it was not bad indeed. Congratulations. 2 Canadians on the medal podium here at the World Championships in Oakland, California. We will come back and see the medal presentations to Petrenko, Browning, and Stojko. Welcome back live to the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. The coaches of the silver medalist and the bronze medalist are with me. This is Doug Lee, coach of Elvis Stojko, and Michael Urana, Kurt Browning's coach. I asked Elvis about trying every triple in the book. A risky strategy sometimes.
Yeah, it's the only way to go. I mean, without the risk, you're not going to get there, and that's what we're going for, the long haul. And after such a great Olympics, we came back to show them again, and bronze medal, terrific.
Is Kurt healthy, Michael? Is he as good as you'd like to see him?
Oh, yes, he's healthy. Whether he's as good as I would like to see him, you always try to have them skating better, so you just do as much as you can.
What did he ask you during his program about 3 minutes in?
Oh, he was wondering whether he should put one of the other jumps in to make up maybe for the missed second triple axel, and it just was no time for it, and he actually didn't even wait for any answer. He just kept going.
All right, Doug Lee, I think your man needs a bigger arena. Stojko nearly hit the boards. I said to him, I thought you reminded me of Midori Ito.
Yeah, we were crowding the walls a little bit, but we're used to competing and working on an Olympic rink at home, and it felt a little bit small, but went well. We'll take it.
All right, you'll take it indeed. Hang on. I want to talk to you guys again in just a minute. We're going to take a commercial break and then come back live to the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. The medals presentation is coming up. Stay with us. CBC returns to California live on a Friday night right after this. Here is the fact that Browning was given a real break yesterday when they missed the fact he missed a triple Lutz. Have you ever seen that happen before?
Well, judges make mistakes, and I always like to speak on their behalf that they make mistakes when they don't mark us as well as we think. Well, once they mark us a little better, that's all right.
All right, that's all right. Quickly, the ceremonies are beginning. Let's go to Chris Cuthbert.
All right, thanks very much, Brian. Here he is, world champion, to go along with his Olympic gold medal. And because he's been so close so often, I think this might be just as sweet.
Well, unlike his Olympic gold, which many people say was the best performance of a bad bunch, I think Victor came out here and won this title. He came out, skated strongly with a performance that lets everybody say, yes, he is the world champion.
And this time it was really the best of a good bunch because the quality of this competition was 10 times better than anything we saw at the Olympics.
Well, the streak's over. 3 world championships and now a silver medal for Kurt Browning.
Well, he's delighted because of the fact that coming in here, the memory of his last performance was not a good one. To have your season end with a much improved skate is something that makes the year all worthwhile in the end.
Kurt's not used to anywhere but the top. He wasn't sure what podium to be on. Here's Elvis Stojko, and how sweet this is. Perhaps the start of a new era in Canadian skating. As he come of age in 1 year. Turned 20 last Sunday and a late birthday present here in Oakland.
Presenting the medals is Olaf Poulsen, the ISU representative at these championships and the president of the International Skating Union.
Victor Petrenko will turn pro after this event. He'll compete in a special pro challenge in Cincinnati in April, and his agent Michael Rosenberg says by the time he's finished touring this year, he will be set financially for life. Kurt Browning at the crossroads in his career. He's got a big decision to make.
Well, for Kurt, the only thing he doesn't have in his amateur career is an Olympic gold medal. It's well within his grasp. He has a unique opportunity that no other winter athlete will ever have. That is to be able to compete in 2 Olympic Games in the span of 2 years. And I think he, his agent, and his group will sit down and discuss just what he'll do.
But he's got to hold off that guy, the bronze medalist, Elvis Stojko, who is definitely targeted for Lillehammer.
The referee and assistant referee of
Elvis reminds me a little bit of Kurt Browning himself back in '88.
Jörg Wilhelm, the ISU delegate. And Sally Ann Stapleford, the assistant referee, offering her congratulations as well.
Flowers will now be presented by.
Well, many people say that this sport never sees quick change. I think this is an example of quick change is very possible, especially in this event, the men's event, both in Albertville, with Paul Wiley leaping onto the podium to a silver medal that no one would have thought possible. Here, Elvis coming out of the Olympic Games to jump onto the podium here. So that rap against the sport that change never happens, or you have to take a slow road to the podium, I don't think is always the case.
Well, Elvis Stojko's on a fast track, that's for sure. May not have seemed like that in Albertville, but obviously the inroads were made there.
The medalists are raised, and the anthem of the champion.
Well, now we're ready for the anthem, but unfortunately there is no CIS anthem here, and we will again hear the song of the ISU. Well, the Olympic competition didn't live up to expectations, but the World Championship was certainly a great follow-up.
Well, this certainly sets the stage for next year's World Championships in Prague.
He was a bronze medalist, and they're singing the national anthem of Canada over there. These fans have been terrific and have given Kurt Browning and Elvis Stojko a home ice advantage here. And it's been quite a night for Canadian skating. Right now, let's turn it over to Brian Williams.